Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. This is episode number 2. Last time out, we got started on establishing transport routes for passengers between our three closest towns, Columbia, Dallas, and Laredo. Now we're going to continue with that, maximizing it. I've done a little bit of work on that off camera, but we're going to see the end of that process together. But as we go forward, there's a couple things that need to happen. One, I have a loan balance that I will eventually need to take care of. Also, there's a headquarters that helps tabulate a company's score, and we need to figure out where to put it. I see the full rundown of what we have. Currently we have 26 road vehicles, nothing else. But it keeps good information for us. So in building that, it's only 11,000. It's not bad. Where I've decided I want to put it is Columbia. And there is a reason for that. And we want it in the industrial part of Columbia. Let's zoom way in close here. So I want to see what we're actually doing. Do you not even have a road connection? You appear not to. Alright, well, we'll put it right there next to the road. Okay, settle down, build the company headquarters. Nice. Now, main reason for Columbia, a couple things. One, I live just off the Columbia River. But this Columbia is based on Columbia, South Carolina, opposite side of the country. However, if you haven't noticed, there are lots and lots of things with the Columbia namesake all across the United States of America. What does this headquarters do? Apparently nothing. There's a chance to relocate. Alright. Well, Columbia, that namesake, all over the country. Columbia, South Carolina, Columbia River. There is British Columbia in Canada. You have the District of Columbia in Washington, as in the capital. And plenty of other occurrences of Columbia around the nation. Reason for it is the Latin poetic variation to the name Columbus. You know, the douchebag who murdered millions and or billions, depending on how you want to stretch that line out a little bit. You know, the one that we still honor, we have a holiday for, who was a very, very bad guy. That's a different story. But Columbus does get a lot of undeserved credit for stumbling across the Americas. And I'm going to continue playing as we go forward. And you can see that I have a station here at Forest Street that is quite full of people on the Columbia South Line. 31 waiting to get around. And this is what I need to do, is I need to find these busy stations and add more lines. So that's Columbia South, and you can see that we only have 2 vehicles on it right now, and it's clearly not keeping up. So we're going to add at least 2 more to that line, and I'm going to need quite a few. So let's go ahead and buy some vehicles. Let's get 10 more. I'm going to need at least this many across the board. Now, Columbia South, let's take 2, and we're going to add them to Columbia South. There we go. We also have a bunch of passengers waiting here. That's on the same line, though. So for now, we'll leave it at that. We do have, however, here, the Columbia Exchange. Laredo to Columbia, still busy. Columbia to Dallas, also a little bit busy. And then there's that Columbia South line, which we are taking care of. I have already added a couple more in these places, but the Columbia to Dallas one is getting closer to having the right number. And Laredo, Columbia still looks like it needs a couple. So let's go back into that vehicle manager. We'll add 1 to the... Oh, hold on. Which one? Columbia, Dallas. 1 to Columbia, Dallas, and then 2 there. Yes. Okay, and 2 to Columbia with Laredo. That's that one. Okay, hopefully that'll clean things up there. Let's go check on Dallas. Now, that namesake, yes, Columbus. Okay, that's the guy. Well, it appears a lot more than you may think or know. I'm sure most of you have heard of Columbia Pictures, right? The movie company. And they're at the beginning of their movies, it's not too many passengers waiting, but this one is, let's see, that's the East Line, but this is also the West Line, and that's part of the East Line. So East Line, very busy, really both lines. So we're going to need to add passengers to both lines in Dallas, passenger cars, that is. We need to add at least 2 to both. So Dallas East, Dallas West. There we go. And how we doing here? Dallas, Laredo. Okay, we have not added to that one, so we certainly can. That's not a massive load. There you go, Dallas, Laredo. Just add 1 for now, and then let's see how we're looking down in Laredo itself. Ooh, things are starting to pick up here in Laredo as well. Last time I checked, it was still quite empty in here. But we're not talking about busy. Oh, Laredo Exchange, okay. 14th Street. 1 in Laredo South, 1 in Laredo North. That's not bad. But this is Dallas to Laredo, busy. Okay, Laredo South, busy. And Laredo to Columbia, we just added 1 here. So I think we need to add more, maybe even 2 more, and 1 to Laredo South. So that's going to be 3 more vehicles. There we go. 1 in Laredo South. There we go. And 2 more to Dallas, Laredo. Alright, we're going to speed time up for a little bit. And you can already see that even without the adjustments I just made, the new additions to the lines, we have now turned all but 1 line to being profitable. And that is Dallas East is the other one, and Columbia North is kind of hovering right around in even balance. That's what it takes. You got to figure out how busy these lines are and whether they are taking care of the passengers or not. And over time, given some time, they will begin turning a profit. That's exactly what we have going now. So switching the screen over to the finances, we've been staying on the same date for a while as we're establishing this first part. You can see the road. That's the area. You can see over the last 2 sequences we have turned a profit, but we just spent some money on this one, so it does have us a little bit at a little bit of a negative. And when you add in the loan interest, we're actually not even in a positive balance yet, but the investments we've continued to make continue to add to the deficit. So right now we're down to $3.5 million. But we do have a system that is turning a profit on itself. You can see that even in the current sequence we've already crossed that threshold, or at least for a moment we did, as we go through. And because of all this, you can see we have a new commercial building here in Laredo that's kicking off. So this is a good thing. We are not only beginning to turn a profit, but we are beginning to see some growth in our 3 towns of Columbia, Dallas, and Laredo, in which we are moving people through public transport. You can see 400, 400, 500 on the move. You can also see the increased private transport within these 3 towns that we are permitting thanks to the efforts that we're making here. So looking at Laredo specifically, this is how growth works within the town. So we have 159 residents, same for the shopping facilities and workplaces, meaning everybody's got somewhere to work but one. But target population right now is 115, but we're at plus 40%. Now the base for this and where it's going, the plus 40%, is these factors. So we have destinations. This is creating public transport. Right now, we are providing enough public transport in Laredo to add 30% to the population, helping it grow. The private transport, there's enough roads, there's enough movement, there's enough ways to get around that's providing an additional 20%. But they need supply, and then they have quality within goods, and there's a base of a negative 10 here for the quality of the stations and where they're set up. But the supply is that next step, starting to bring cargo within to towns, and not just any cargo, but what they need specifically, like 55 food and 51 construction material into Laredo, will then begin turning up profit and helping grow the city by quite a margin. And as that grows, we're going to collect more and more money off of these routes that are now all profitable, even if one, and that's just the small one right up here, is only marginally profitable. As a whole, they are all now turning a profit, and we're looking pretty good. In a little bit of time, I'd like to check back in and see how we're doing, because we still have a number of passengers waiting, but it's definitely not like it was before. Let's see how they're quickly moving through. There's still a little bit of a wait. Dallas to Laredo, Laredo to Columbia, both of those routes. The inner city one is working just fine. And over here, you can see the south line in Columbia is still backed up, so it still has not caught up. It has caught up from here, but you see new people arriving as it continues its route. So it looks like I need to add at least another 1 or 2 to Columbia South. And Laredo, Columbia is very busy. I think we're doing okay on Columbia Dallas now. Let's add 1 to Columbia South, and we'll add 2 more to Laredo, Columbia, and then we're going to move on to something else. So 3 vehicles. And that's Columbia South. I could probably do 2, but we don't want to overdo it. And then that was Laredo and Columbia. If you add too many, the expenses are too high and you don't make enough money. And that's why you've got to be careful at the rate that you add them. See, Columbia, Dallas, busy, but struggling to turn a profit. But you can see it does turn that around when they make their drop-offs. Laredo North, it's only 1 line. It's not very busy, but it's doing okay. It's not hurting us. All right. Well, we're ready to move on to our second phase here. Back on that subject while I'm at it. So Columbia, the Columbia movie pictures. It has a woman standing in front of the clouds, and she's all flashy and woo, and she's got her arm up in the air, and she resembles the Statue of Liberty. There's a reason for that. That is the goddess Columbia, and hence the name Columbia Pictures. Rebuilding tool without having to demolish them. Oh, nice. Okay. Let's slow this back down a little bit for now, and we're going to set up our first cargo run of some type, but what to do and where? Well, that's a big question. We're going to let things run in the background. Actually, let's just let things continue to run in the background quickly. We should be turning profits there. That's iron ore. What do you need? Nothing that can be produced nearby, and that's the tricky. Buffalo Farm, that is grain. Processing plant, you're going to take grain and you're going to turn it into food, and we need food right there in Laredo. So I think we might have our starting point where we have, ooh, you know what, actually there is food at this farm right here. We could connect this up, and that is a pretty easy connection to make. Let's see what it would take to get a road between here. Now, one way to do this is via railroad. And that is going to be the long term, the big way to go. But we don't have a ton of money. Yes, we are making money now, but it's not in massive quantities. And in fact, like we already mentioned on the balance charts, here's our first sequence that's actually profitable, and it's because of the loan interest. We have this loan that's out, so we're paying the loan now, but we're not covering any more than that. So we don't have a ton of money to work with. Your max loan is 10 million. We can borrow more. Again, that comes with an expense. I'd rather be repaying some of this and lowering the loan interest. But we're not going to sit around and just run things AFK long term. That's a cheap way to do things. So we want to run a road, and let's see, 2-lane street with speed limit 20 k per hour. 2-lane road. Okay, small country road. That's 40 k per hour. I like that. All right. We want to curve this around the farm. I don't want to mess with the farm. Now we're going to head right on towards that next one, keeping it gently curved. Okay. All right, 86,000. That cuts through there. There you go. Now we're easily connected to here. And I don't think we need to shorten anything here. I think that little intersection is just fine. Now, we're going to need to make a line from here to there, but we're also going to need trucks. And maybe we'll put a depot just outside of Laredo to start this one up. Actually, we already have a road depot, don't we? We just need vehicles. Okay, we're fine with that. But we will need a truck station. There we go. Inside Laredo, and it looks like the food is for the residential area and not the brickwork area. But you don't want to put the station in the middle of the residential area, which is actually kind of what I already did for the passengers. But the passengers are people. We want the industrial stuff in the industrial area. We might add some roads here. Turn at the right angle that we want. We're going to set this up just off the road. Alright, now I want a street network that's going to put us back here. We're going to use this way, and then we're going to connect you up right over here. Okay, good. That'll help Laredo grow more and more as time goes on. In fact, already we just got a new road popping up right here with some buildings, just like that. So, excellent. Let's get a more top-down view for a little bit here. And we're going to need some additional buildings, and that's going to involve truck unloading stops. Okay, so unload only. That's fine. This station covers the downtown, but it does not cover our residential areas, so we need to get those covered. Okay, covered to that north intersection and the other station there. So we want to get this around. Oh, there you go. There's an easy one. That covers the whole north and west. And then we want to cover the whole south and west going this way. It'll grow and expand, so we'll fill that in. So there's a couple stops. And I think we're already good on the streets. Now from here, it's all about getting what we need and how to get it from place to place. And we need coverage here. So I think we need a truck station. I think that's how this one works. Okay, so we can put this right outside, or can we do this closer to this intersection? I kind of like that idea, because then you have your in, out, and it's in range. A little bit of a sneaky move here, but that's okay. Okay, so there's one there, and then we're going to need one at the farm. And again, we're going this other direction with it, so how far away can we get? Let's not go too far away. We'll put it here on the back side of the farm. Excellent. Alright, so we can pick up goods and transport to here. And then we can pick up those goods after processing and transport them to here. And then we can run a couple lines to distribute around Laredo. And we're going to start bringing in some more money in a new way. We're going to need, let's see, how far? Well, let's set up our lines. Let's start with that. So line manager, and we're going to go new line, and we're going to go from the farm to here. Now this is the tricky part, because we're going to need to do some renaming. And we need a new naming convention as well. So let's see here. What are we going to do? We'll come back to that in a second. Let's take this San Francisco West Terminal and let's rename you. So I'm fine with the San Francisco. But it's not really San Francisco. It's, let's see, Farm. There we go. San Francisco Farm West. Okay, we want to call this one Laredo Food Processing South. And what are we going to call this one? Laredo Central Cargo. Okay, now we can go back into the line manager. Line 1 already has a name, Farm West, Processing South, that's good, and let's rename it here. So now, this is not passenger, it's cargo, but it is road, so it's still R. And this is going to be SF farm to Laredo food. All right, and now for the next line. And this is going to go from the food processing to the central cargo. And we're going to rename this one Cargo Road, Laredo Food to Laredo Central Cargo. Okay, we're doing good here. And then now we need to distribute out. And you have cargo and cargo routes. Okay, and then this one we're going to rename Cargo Road, Laredo, let's see, food distribution. There we go. Okay, so that's 3 new routes. How many carts to put on them, I have no idea, especially as we're going to try to get to 41. I think the food distribution is only going to need 1 or 2, but the other 2 are going to need quite a few, maybe 5 each to start, and then we'll see how we're doing over time. So that means we want 12, and that's going to be this one, all cargo, American horse-drawn carriage. So what did we say? 12, 5, 5, and then 2. All right, we'll grab 2, put them on the distribution line, and then we're going to pick 5 of these, and we're going to put them on the food line and the farm to processing line. First cargo item waiting. Have a cargo item waiting at a terminal. Meaning it's worked. We have goods. We have large quantities of goods. But until we get all 5 of them here and completing a circuit, we don't know how much can it handle. We're not going to have anything processed there until we can get stuff to it. It's going to take a little while for those vehicles to get over here. And it's not a close depot. And I think when we do expand into San Francisco, we're probably going to want another road depot out this direction. So while that is preparing itself, let's check back in on our lines. And we have our one slightly negative. I'm not worried about that one. There's only 1 vehicle on it, so we're doing okay. The rest are looking pretty good other than Columbia North. But you could also see that of all of these, that's the only other one that has just 2 vehicles. But it is filling up enough so it's doing okay. It's not hurting us. You can see it is hovering around a profit. Dallas Laredo completely full and 40,000 in profit. Same with Laredo to Columbia. So that's where a lot of our money is coming in at the moment. While we're waiting on the vehicles to get out, and you can see that here's these 5 coming to make their first trip, but there's nothing here. Yes, yes. Train stations. Got it. We'll get there. I want to do vehicle first. Now, let's see the line. Can we manage this line? Let's go food to Laredo Central Cargo. Yes, that's this one. Load if available versus what? We want to full load any. Nope. Wait, you're going to be empty, so I guess that doesn't matter. So we want it to fill up here before it takes off. But we'll set a maximum waiting time of 5 minutes. So if it's not full, eventually they'll go. But the trick is this one down here. And there are our 5 vehicles on the way. So let's see. I want to there it is. There's the station. First cargo item on board. There's another achievement for us. So here they are loading up the goods. It's our turn. Oh, where's the reins, buddy? Where's the reins? Better keep those horses in check. Alright, and we head down the road. And you can see now they're spreading out a little bit. But they're all on the way. And it's already full. Dang. Okay, well, that's good to know. I think we're going to need definitely more than 5 if we're going to do this. But ultimately, it's not about how much can it produce. It's going to be about how much do we need in Laredo worth of food. Because Laredo needs 54, now 55 in food. So we're going to have to get an eye on the quantity here. So they are waiting this time around. That's good. And how close are we to our first drop-off? And they're each holding, what, 4? Yeah, they're each holding 4 only. See our current negative balance, but this is about to change. It is going to take a little bit because it's still going to be processed. So here comes our first delivery. Oh, they can't get in. Let's switch this up. Terminals. You should be on separate terminals here. You can't get in right now. That's the entrance is blocked. Okay, let's go the other way. You too. Go ahead. Can we get you out of here? There we go. Now they'll go to their terminal. 10,000 for each delivery. That's nice. That's nice. What are you waiting for? There you go. 10,000. Now we should begin to see, and we are, our first processed food is now coming through. And you can see our factory is quickly working. If I can get this, oh, there we go. These controls feel backwards to me. Well, it worked there for a moment. We've used up what's here, but production-wise, it is now started. The Laredo food processing plant is, well, you know, processing food. So it's consumed 20 and produced 10. Meaning I think we're going to need a bit more because it looks like we have 5 food ready from 20 that just came in. So we're going to need a lot more trucks on that first line. Let's go ahead and double what we have right now. So let's buy 5 more horse-drawn carriages. And actually, I'm not even sure that's going to be enough. That'll put us to 10. Let's make it... Let's go with 12 for now. And that's going to be this line. 5 heading back. They'll fill up immediately, but food will begin to come in. Speaking of, let's get... Oh, somebody's already picked something up. Got anybody on the way back? There they are. Alright, we got a full load here, 4 of 4. Our first full load. Ah, that is so pretty. Rolling through town. 1850s. It's all stonework, brick stonework, and here we go, pulling in. And we're gonna come around and unload. And how much was that? Well, you've made a profit. I didn't see how much that was. But it has been dropped off. And you can see now it's ready to be distributed in town. Officially, 2 have been collected so far here in Laredo. The rest have to be distributed around town. Remember, it's to the people who need the food, not the industry. But there you go. There's the vehicle to take that around. And currently, we're running a big deficit. But again, it takes a little bit of time. You start with the negative balance as you go from creation to getting on the route to making enough deliveries to overcome. You can see we are doing pretty well. Cargo could include wood, but that's not what we're going for. This is all about food. And just in that one delivery, we've already negated most of the negative balance that we had. We need this one to also be waiting, so let's configure this line, the distribution one, and we want to wait full load 5 minutes. There you go. So they'll wait around. There's only 2 vehicles this time, so it's not that bad. Alright, we're all backed up here again. Wondering if I need to change this one out a little bit. I want them waiting, but I don't want them, you know, blocking the roadway like they are. Sending them out and away seems like a good way to get us caught up. There we go. Now here comes a couple more deliveries, 10,000 for each. And he's already filling up now. That's 3. And he's got a full load and off he goes. Now if we can get the first piece here down as we get these quantities up. If we get this right, we'll find that balance. You can see there is now food ready, prepared. So this next one's going to pull up, load up, and immediately turn around and go. So finding a balance is always tricky, and it's going to be the real key to making a profit in this game. So finding success in this game is very dependent on finding a balance among your routes. And that takes a little while. And that's why I personally find it important to stall the date for long periods of time. You don't get to see the mechanics, you don't feel the mechanics, you don't get to enjoy the mechanics if you just let time run. So now going into the line manager, There you go. Our farm to Laredo one already starting to turn a profit. Not the other side yet, but we've already recovered this one, and that one is just about keeping balance. So, and that's where the real distribution comes out, and that's where most of the money will come in. This one's not going to bring in anywhere near as much money. I don't expect this one to necessarily show a profit, though it'll show some. And all of our other passenger lines outside of the one are doing well. But this could be where we finally hit that point, at least here in a little bit, where we're not just making a balance that's positive, but a balance that's positive beyond the interest rate of what we owe bank loan wise, as we had that $5 million borrowed initially. So you can see a couple sequences ago, we made enough to put away $34,000. We had no investments during that period. This is where we just made all the investments to set these lines up, and that has dropped a negative balance into that sequence. We didn't bring in much money, but immediately after, already back into somewhat profitable. But as we start piecing this all together, it should start going the right direction. I'd love to start repaying some of this loan. We've got to actually be turning a profit. We should see this load up pretty quickly. Let's see, he's got 2. Okay, go ahead and go back. That next one in there, he's at least got a little bit on there. But this is tricky getting this figured out. See, each one of those is only bringing 2 here. So I gotta figure something out on how to not get this backed up. And I think really all I can do is just make it constant. This is gonna be this one. So let's change this back down. Or make it shorter. There we go. Maybe shorten it to 2 minutes. If we shorten that down to 2 minutes, will that keep us moving? Because it's not. We're still stalling. Okay. My manager, and let's change it. I think we just need to go. Load if available. They've got to get in and out faster than they are currently. That's just the bottom line, especially when we've got more vehicles coming in the other way. I hate to send them off empty, but if they're going to do what they're doing and not allow us to fill up, we've got to do it this way, right? It's all about balance. All right. Well, now you can see we've definitely got the ability to load up some food and keep it moving. There you go. They're able to load up immediately, and off they go. And there should be 4 more on the way. So, okay. Now you can already see that as a system, these 3 lines combined are already turning a significant profit. More than 50,000 between them. And you can see it's fluctuating very frequently, but between them, it's over 50,000 in profit. So in this case, it's about the whole system and not just one part of the system. This one, even though it's not really creating a balance, it's helping move people to the main line that then allows them to get elsewhere. So that's all good. So I think we're looking good now on that part. We do have food ready for distribution, and we could increase this. Now, the big ticker is how are we doing on this? Ooh, not good at all, actually. We've only done 7 of 55. Now the system's just going to start picking up. In fact, there you go. It's already higher. It's at 9. But for this to really work, we need to start pushing this closer to that 40 or 50 mark for this to be effective. Right now it's just plus 10%, and there's a lot of money to be had in it. So I think I will be adding more vehicles to those lines. The first line in particular, 1 or 2 more to that main line, that distribution part of the line. I don't think we're having an issue with distribution at this end, but let's see if we are. No, they're just waiting, and actually they're waiting. Here we go again. They're waiting and nothing going on. Both of them are sitting there blocking the way. So here we go again with the same problem. So let's go into the line manager and we'll go with the distribution. You can't wait 5 minutes, but we can have you wait 2 minutes. There we go. See, now they're able to fill up and get on the move. All right. We are starting to turn a little profit, so I would like to actually repay our first little piece of this loan. Let's pay back $1 million anyway. That does cut our bank balance down a little bit, but it's going to lower the loan interest that we're paying. Should lower it by 20% going forward, and that'll free up a little bit. So I'll make it a little easier. I'll make it a profit. You can see this last little sequence, we made $89,000 despite the loan interest that we're dealing with. So progress. We are now profitable. We've still got $4 million to pay off, so we've got a ways to go there, but we are beginning to turn a profit. The big thing though is I still need to increase these lines, and while we're at it, we're gonna have to go back and check the exchanges. It looks like Dallas to Laredo, not enough vehicles. Even Laredo to Columbia is a little bit full here, so it's time to get more vehicles out on the dough, clean up the passenger lines, and we definitely want to help fill up this food line because we're up to 18 of 55. So that's not bad. But we could double that and still only be, happy, content with where we're at on that. So a lot more money to be had. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go add some vehicles to all the lines across board. We'll do this off camera, and then we'll check back in with the lines and see how they're doing next time. That's going to do it for this episode. Oh, look at that. There it is. All profit now. Other than that one line, but it's only one vehicle, so okay. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button to get this series off and running. It really helps with the algorithm. I'll only ask that the first few episodes, but after that, if you want to tune in, continue to tune in. But thanks for checking this one out. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.